What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, a football fan channel made in Manchester, and this is your afternoon breaking news show. We have got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to get into. Absolutely excited about this one. Just got back from the golf driving range, which probably no people want to hear. Doing my unorthodox swing where everyone was in awe and watching and saying, this guy is going to be the next Tiger Woods. Probably take me about 100 years to get there, but that's why it's a little bit late today. The show, it's at 12:30 instead of 12 o'clock. Because, yeah, I was busy trying to hit the ball off the ground, which, you know, I got my personal best today in terms of 211. Might sound a bit shit to proper golfers out there, but, you know, it's about them building blocks. It's about working with it. Building blocks. You see what I'm saying? It's about, you know, getting the right people around you. And you can almost kind of relate that to what's going on at Manchester United at the moment. And that's why we're going to talk about potential players coming in Michael OLISE. See how I segued that there? Absolute professional I am. I'm going to talk about OLISE. That's like the main story of the show. We're going to talk about Luke Shaw as well, his future, when he's next going to be available, if ever. We're going to talk about the leaks, not the leaks, sorry. Well, you can kind of call them leaks if you want, but the reports about Antony to Europe. We've had the Muppeteers put something out on him, which I thought was very interesting. Loads of news around Thomas Tuchel heating up. I didn't want to go with that as the main story because we have spoken about Tuchel quite a lot, and I'm not quite sure what other angles you can kind of talk about. So I want to take a look at the situation at Bayern Munich and the managers that they've gone through. You know, the big fucking giant list of them. And I'm also going to talk about VAR as well for some of the neutral fans who are in TikTok or in, you know, whatever. David Murdoch saying 211 decent. We all start somewhere, bud. Thank you, mate. See, that's the kind of moral support you need. You know, if someone's going to the gym and they're trying, you don't laugh at them. You say, well done. You know, maybe do it like this. Try this technique. You'll get better reps out of this, blah, blah, blah. I don't go to the gym, obviously. But I'm just saying, if someone is, I've never understood like the thought behind someone just laughing at someone in the gym. It's like, like, get real, mate. What are you doing? Everybody has to start somewhere. And probably people who was watching me at the fucking driving range before was like, that guy's swing is the most unorthodox thing I've ever seen in my life. But hit 211, not bad. Not bad. Like Dan Everton says there, did you say Tiger Woods or Happy Gilmore? It was more like Happy Gilmore. It was just a wild... I mean, I'll put it on my story. Anyone who follows me on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, I'll put it on my story. It was, yeah, it's horrendous. OLISE will be decent. Definitely an upgrade on Antony. Right, let's dive into that then. Again, giving me perfect segues. So, David Ornstein put something out saying Manchester United are interested in Michael OLISE. His release clause is in the region of £60 million. However, it is a complicated mechanism and not as straightforward as pay the fee and get him. We are in active contact with his entourage at the moment, so we are in talks. I'm not just putting that for fun. OLISE is open to leaving Crystal Palace this summer. Now, the first thing I'll throw out there, because Ornstein also put, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, and anyone who was on the live with me at the time will remember, the tweet said something along the lines of, he only wants a club with Champions League football. So has that changed now? Is he now open to, you know, dropping down the table potentially into the Conference League, which sounds fucking embarrassing on our part? You look at the situation at Crystal Palace, he's probably not on a lot of wages. I'm guessing he's on about, what, 60k at Crystal Palace? Let's have a look. Let's see what people are on. 100 grand a week, to be fair, which is more than I thought it would be on. But even still, you go to United, that's going to get a bump up. Your exposure, which I'm sure they'll try selling into him in terms of social media and all them kind of things. Like, it is a step up, which people, Palace fans will probably argue at the moment, mate, we absolutely slapped you 4-0. And you know, we're not too far behind you in the table, to be honest with you. But what, like 10, 15 points or something? So people will argue that and they'll banter you about it and blah, 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 whatever it is. But it's a step up. It's Manchester United. It's a huge club, huge reputation. The question I have is, I don't know where United are going to get this budget from. How many times have you gone through the team? I mean, we were speaking about centre-backs the other day. You're going to need 2 centre-backs. And whilst we're on the discussion of centre-backs, actually, for any members in the chat, if you're watching this live or watching it later on because you're doing something with your Friday, that's absolutely fine. I'm dropping a video this weekend, 5 replacements for Raphael Varane, and the 5 players that I've done is in-depth scout analysis of what type of player they are. For anyone who's a little bit confused as to, you know, I don't know if he'll be the right fit, A lot of work has gone into it. So that video is going to be dropping over the weekend for members exclusively. So please do let me know what you think about that. Anyway, yeah, so you look at like the unit as a full, and the team as a full, should I say. They want 2 centre-backs, right? I think that's pretty well known at Manchester United. They want a left back. They said they're definitely going to get a left back. We've been linked with Frimpong with his release clause for 35, 40 million. Maybe Wan-Bissaka goes as well. You definitely need a holding midfielder. Because, one, they're not going to keep Amrabat, and I wouldn't want him as your starter anyway. And two, you cannot go into the season next season with Casemiro as your holding six. You just cannot do it if you want to win games. And I think we've had a pretty good fucking example of that this year. You can't go into next season with him. So you need a number 6 there first and foremost. Kobbie Mainoo can't play every single game. You know, he's a young kid. He's developing extremely well, but you can't play him every single game. We have Mount there. Some people might say that's fine. You know, the 10 position's probably okay because, like I said, you've got Bruno Fernandes there, who's you know, he's barely injured at all apart from recently. Then you want to get Olise, a creative winger. You've still got Sancho at the club, Antony at the club, Ahmad, Garnacho, Rashford. Pellistri is probably going to come back from loan. Like, what are you going to do with all them? And then you have a striker that you want to get as well. So where is this budget coming from? Where is it coming from to buy these players? Olise is going to cost you around 60 million quid, and then wages on top of that, right? A left back. I'll talk about left back more in depth when I speak about Shaw in a minute, but that's going to be an interesting one. You centre backs, if you're going to go for a Branthwaite or something like that, it's probably going to cost you around 60 million quid. And then you need a second centre back on top of that. Your holding midfielder is going to cost you around 60, 70 million. See what I'm saying? So the money's only going to stretch so far, especially when you're not in Europe as well. So I'm not entirely sure. Like, I want Olise. I think he's a fantastic player. If you look at his metrics in the league this season, I was watching an analysis video on him yesterday, and they said he's got the second most expected assist in the league behind Kevin De Bruyne. Our current wingers at the moment, Antony, Garnacho, and Rashford are all in like the 100th percentile or whatever it is. So like 167th in the league for expected assist. They don't pass the ball, which is why Rasmus has been suffering quite a lot. You bring in Olise, you open up them creative lines. He's deadly off set pieces as well. Will contribute in that sense. He's a top player, and we saw that firsthand. And I'm like, yeah, definitely sign him. I like him. I just don't know. I don't know where. I really don't know where they're going to get the money from. Genuinely. Casemiro's getting old and dropping a lot in form recently. Yep, I agree. Same as all the other clubs who have had injuries, but I still think Ten Hag deserves another season. I think people are starting to change the tune on that a little bit, which is nice, I suppose. Why would Olise downgrade? Nice banter. I think Newcastle, sorry, I missed that. Man United had the most injuries this season than anyone else. Ahmad is as good as Olise. Look, Ashton, anyone who's watched Real Reds Talk before knows I've backed Ahmad to the hills. I've been speaking about Ahmad for years, man. So seeing him start to come into the team now, and that's not no kind of like self-preservation thing. Seeing him come into the team now, I'm buzzing for him. And he's deserved this chance. He deserved it for ages rather than fucking ruining that right-hand side for a long, long time. So, look, I trust him. I would just play him on the right-hand side. I don't think you need necessarily to go and invest. But, you know, we're in talks with Olise. So it seems like United feel like they need to invest in that area anyway. So that'd be very, very interesting to see what happens there. Obviously, you've got everything going on with Antony as well. The Muppeteers put some out on Twitter saying that United have received a minor inquiry about Antony from a French club. I'm not sure what money you're going to recoup. Maybe a fucking 10 Richmond sausages and a handbag for him. I genuinely don't know what you're going to get because you spend 85 million quid on him, like, and whatever team's looking at him, they're going to go, the guy's got a goal and assist in like a year. You know, how are you going to recoup anywhere near the price that you paid for him? I doubt you'd probably get half. I don't know. Maybe. What's Antony worth at the minute? I'll throw it to you lot. What is Antony worth at the minute? I don't have a Scooby-Doo, mate. Don't have a clue. Whether you get 30 million, 40 million, 20 million at a push, like, genuinely, probably about 25 million, 30 million quid. And you're losing out a 50 million pound there is insane. Insane. Grip Reaper. That sounds a bit sinister. We should sign João Neves. Yep, he'd be my number one. Number two, yeah, number one, number two. I like João Neves and De Jong, anyway. Wan-Bissaka needs replacing 100%. Wan-Bissaka needs to go. And maybe that when we're talking about sales and players going, get money for Antony, Sancho, if we can sell him, but his wages are going to be that's the biggest issue. Dortmund can afford the fee, they can't afford his wages. I think that someone from Germany, a very credible journalist, said that, and they're going to struggle with the wages. Sancho, sell yet. Mason Greenwood, if you can get 40, 50 million quid for him, he's going to be pure profit. So that's just going to go straight into the bank. If offers come in for Scott McTominay, will they consider it, or would you want to keep him as a squad player? Because if you sell him for 40 million quid, again, pure profit. Marcus Rashford, I don't think he's going to go in the summer, but if you sell him for 80 million pound, that's another pure profit. You can see where the money could potentially come in from. Maguire is probably at his highest since we bought him in terms of value. I know he's at the oldest, but he's had a pretty good season, and I think a club would be willing to spend 30 to 40 million pound on him, in my opinion. Who's going to buy Anthony? Well, Muppets have put out that it's, a French club have inquired about him, but inquired is, they could just say, how much do you want for him? United go 50 million. You go, no, fuck off, mate. Not a chance. I'd go for Branthwaite and Todibo. Well, make sure you check out the centre-back video that's dropping over the weekend. 5 replacements for Raphael Varane. Very in-depth video. It's going to be about 30 minutes long, and I talk about 5 centre-backs who I think could be good for Manchester United, and potential free agents as well. Who could that potentially be? Dan Errington saying if United sell properly, we can have an extra 100 mil. If we sell properly, though, Dan Errington. Obviously, it's different under Ineos in it going into this summer, but, we always struggle to sell players. We have notoriously. I remember, was it last summer or summer before where we just sold Andreas Pereira for like 10 million quid and everyone was buzzing because we never sell players ever in our life. Oh, throat's killing. You can't sell all of those and replace them. Too many changes in the team won't work. Yeah, it's not realistic. It's not FIFA career mode, is it? I agree, Brads. Ryan saying hi. Hello, Ryan. Alexander saying, please get us Euro. That boy is talented. Hey, a lot of you are naming decent players. Let's just keep it at that. I'm not going to go into my list of centre-backs, but there's 5 players that I think will be really, really, really good. And I can't wait for that to drop. Surprised most of us aren't all watching the 99 documentary Blind Shot, Pants Around Our Ankles. Well, we know what Sam's up to today then, at least. I'm going to be watching that tonight, of course. The 99 documentary did drop. So, yeah, any United fans who forgot about that, like myself today, because I was like, oh shit, no way, he's out. Then, yeah, something to watch tonight with the missus. Elise actually in talks with United. Yeah, his entourage are in talks with United. Legit. It's not no cap or no clickbait or anything like that. It's legit in talks. Romano's put it. David Ornstein's put it. Yeah, his entourage is speaking to United. So we'll move on from a little bit of transfer talk. We had Eric Ten Hag do his press conference yesterday, and he mentioned that Luke Shaw has had another setback, and he's not going to be available for the FA Cup final, which my girlfriend would be absolutely gutted about because she loves Luke Shaw. But we need to have a discussion about Luke Shaw in general. He's had quite a few setbacks so far. He hasn't been available for the majority of the season. He hasn't been available since he signed for the club, I think, for around 45% of his games or 50% of his games in total, in general. And I'm not really sure if you can build a foundation and build a team with a player who's only available 50% of games. They always say in football, I know it's very cliche to say, the best ability is availability, right? That's what they all say. And if you can't have players available in a season, they could be as talented as they want. Luke Shaw is one of the best left-backs in the world. Don't try and tarnish his name. That's fine, but he doesn't play any fucking games. You know what I mean? You can say he's one of the best left-backs. He's never on the fucking pitch. So what's the point? What's the point? To be honest, I know United won't sell him. I like Luke Shaw. I think he's a very good player. On his day, one of the best left-backs in the league, no doubt. One of the best left-backs in Europe, to be honest, on his day. But when was the last game he played? Someone tell me the last game he played. I cannot remember it. Cannot remember it. Pat Morehouse, Elise is not in talks with United. All right, everyone believe Pa Morehouse over David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano, shall we? Exclusive coming in from Pa Morehouse. He's got the goods. He's sat next to Elise now on a park bench, and he's saying he's not in talks with United. Right, thanks for that, Pa. Appreciate it. Why have a player in the books if he's always injured? Absolutely, Moroni. 100%. 100%. How Spurs finished above Man United? We could do a completely different fucking podcast for that, or show. Completely different one. The issue is, you can't really sell him. You can't sell him when he's been out that long. I mean, maybe there'll be some clubs that'll be interested and they'll be looking around it. Maybe they have a miracle in the summer and they bring in a left back who does fantastically well, or the medical staff get the gear together and they start performing, and he just, he can play on a consistent basis. Sometimes you see that happen, but usually with football players and their injuries, it gets progressively worse as they get older. So I don't know. I can't see this getting any better. I think there's a conversation. It's a difficult conversation to have, but we need to have the conversation as United fans. I think at least, rather than just sitting there saying, nah, let him stay there another season, see what happens. I think we should discuss it. Wan-Bissaka needs to be replaced. Yep, I agree. Is Elise really in talks with United? Yep, his entourages. That's coming out from David Ornstein and Romano, but someone else put in the comments that it isn't true, so you might want to listen to them. We've got 2 good right backs. One needs to make the change at left back. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka needs to go. I mean, I don't want to see Wan-Bissaka at left back ever again in my life. Ever again. Oh, please, God, no. If you are watching live on TikTok or YouTube, we are currently on 5,024 subscribers. If you can hit the subscribe button, that would be absolutely amazing. We're on the road to 10K. Even if not, if you're on the TikTok, drop us a follow, smash a like on the video. Let's get some more people in this chat. Let's get some more people debating. We're on 28.8K, I think, on TikTok. And we're trying to hit 30K as well. Zico Funds has just dropped us a follow. Appreciate that, brother or sister. Whatever, I was going to say genre then. Whatever genre you are. You're not music or a movie, are you? Whatever gender you are, I should say. Ash has dropped us a follow as well. Fucking legends in the chat. Wan-Bissaka's a cold player. He had a shot at... He's not a cold player. He's not. Casemiro works in a corner shop. Someone's just put. Jay Geese has followed me. Thank you. Jack Scott followed as well. Yeah, so many nice people in the chat. It's Friday, innit? Everyone's got that Friday feeling, man. It's good to see. Right, let's talk. Should we talk about Thomas Tuchel then? And then we'll talk about VAR towards the end for all the neutrals, because I appreciate not everyone in the chat is a Man United fan. And I want to talk football in general as well. But Thomas Tuchel remains open to working for a new club next season after leaving Bayern Munich. He's always been open to experiences abroad. Tuchel remains keen on working again in England. Tuchel feels ready for a new chapter immediately. No need to recharge, so he is ready to go. That isn't new news. That isn't breaking news in itself. People will say, we've known this for fucking ages, what you're talking about. But it's significant in terms of the fact of, because Bayern were trying to convince him to stay now. They was trying to say, look, we'll work with you, we'll do this. Will you stay for next summer? And this is our plans. He's then come out of them talks and he said, nah, we're not doing that, mate. I want to go to the Premier League. I want to go back to England. So that's why it's significant. So Bayern have been trying, I think, for around 15. They're like a drunk guy in the bar at 4 in the morning, just trying it on with any bird in the club. 15 managers they've been trying to convince now. Like around 50. I don't think it is. That's not the figure, but it's quite a few. I think off the top of my head, you've got Xabi Alonso, who turned him down because he wanted to stay at Bayer Leverkusen. And let me know in the comments if I miss anyone. I'm just going through the managers off the top of my head. Xabi Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen, who turned him down, rightfully so. Could win an invincible treble and won the league with Bayer Leverkusen for the first time in a million years. You had Nagelsmann, who obviously used to manage there and had a bit of a fucking kick up. Went to manage Germany. There was a little bit of talks back and forth, and then he said, nope, you know what? I'm going to stay with Germany. Fuck you. Fuck you. He was doing what Kevin Hart was doing in Tom Brady. But fuck you, Tom. He was like, fuck you, Bayern. And then Rangnick. There was talks with Rangnick, who Man United fans know very well, who's current manager of the Austria team. And he said no. He said, fuck you, Bayern. Fuck you, Bayern. And then there was links with Oliver Glasner, I think, with Crystal Palace. He was obviously doing a fantastic job there. Has a really good reputation in Germany with Wolfsburg, what he did there. And obviously winning a European trophy with Eintracht Frankfurt. And then you had De Zerbi links, which I'm not sure if he was concrete or not. You had Eric Ten Hag, which is coming from Christian Falk, who knows like a lot of news around Bayern Munich. And then you had Gareth Southgate. And I'm joking about Southgate. No one wants him. But they have gone to every manager, pillar and post. Why does no one want to manage Bayern Munich? It's crazy, isn't it? Like, that is one of the biggest jobs in world football. And I'll tell you why people don't want to manage there. It's because everything that's going on upstairs, which, again, United fans will be familiar with, is an absolute mess. You had Oliver Kahn leave. You had the sporting director leave. You've had fucking them arguing with the managers, senior players there, unhappy, like Joshua Kimmich and Goretzka and all these kind of guys. So, yeah, it's a bit of a mess upstairs at Bayern Munich. They've obviously not won anything for the first time in God knows how long. They won like 12 straight league titles in a row and they haven't won the league this season. The Harry Kane curse is real, mate. He's done fantastically well since he's gone there. But then he's not won anything. Crazy. Thoughts on Trossard? Top player. Top player. Glasner didn't say no. Steve Parish told them it would cost them 80 million to allow him to leave Palace. Well, yeah, maybe Glasner didn't say no. I'm just saying, my whole, we could be pedantic and picky about it, but the whole point is, Bayern are really struggling to get a manager. They can't even keep Tuchel now. The fuck? Like, it's crazy, because Bayern Munich, like, some people dream of that the whole life. I think the one at Stuttgart, I can't remember the guy's name, who's doing a fantastic job at this. I really wish I could. He's just signed a new contract there as well. So they're quite literally getting right down to the bottom of the list at the minute with managers. Kane was as well, just staying in the Premier League to get all the time record. VAR is good. It's the people behind. I'll get into VAR in a moment. We've got a Palace fan in the chat. Why would they want to keep Tuchel? Hansi Flick will take the job back again. Potentially, yeah. Hansi Flick I could see going. But Hansi Flick left in the first place, again, with disagreements with upstairs. You know, obviously he done an amazing, was it quadruple he did with him? Or I'm sure it was quadruple, wasn't it? Either a treble or quadruple Hansi Flick did. But then he had, like the coaches in the past couple of years, they've stayed there 2 years and pissed off. Tuchel's doing the same thing. Man United need a manager like Ancelotti. Don Carlo would be pretty good, yeah. I reckon Shaw could go Saudi, would be great for money. I think quite a few players could go Saudi out of our team. And obviously we've got some free agents leaving in Varane and Anthony Martial, so it'd be interesting to see where they go as well. Thoughts on Cole Palmer? I mean, what hasn't been said about him? The kid's fucking incredible. The fact he's Mancunian as well, I could really see him in United shirt. Not now, because I think obviously moving to Chelsea, big, like 45, 50 million quid. Chelsea would never sell him, but I could really see him in United shirt. Legit. I think he's a top player, man. Top player. And obviously we know it because he scored a hat-trick against us, didn't he, at the Bridge? So, yeah, unfortunately. Right, should we get into this VAR debate then? Because if we got any neutrals in the chat, I mean, you can always tune in anyway and put your 2 pence in. But so we had, I put a clip up recently on the TikTok as well, which some of you guys might have seen. Ornstein again, you know, one of the best journalists in the game. Breaking news that, you know, the Premier League is set to vote on a proposal to scrap VAR. This was the other day, so it's not breaking news in the sense just now. But a couple of days ago, it was kind of put out there. Wolves want to abolish the system completely, and you really can't blame them because they have had just the worst luck ever this season. It's been awful. But they need 2/3 of the league to vote on it for it to be completely scrapped. So 14 out of 20 members to pass on it effectively. The Premier League will oppose any attempt to abolish VAR. They point to an increase in correct decisions from 82% to 96%. That's according to their calculations, whatever that means. I'm not sure where they've got them kind of statistics from. But I've always said with VAR, to kind of repeat my points on it and get your opinions on it. I don't have an issue with VAR. It's the people who are on VAR duties with all the inconsistencies. Anyone who's saying scrap VAR, go and watch the leagues without VAR and tell me you still... Honestly, go do it tonight or go do it over the weekend on Saturday or Sunday or whatever. Go and watch the leagues without VAR. Come back to me and say that you don't want it. And guarantee you won't. I guarantee you won't. There's obviously a need for it now, and teams feel there's no justice in it, or they feel almost targeted, especially teams like Wolves. Some of the decisions they've had, like, that's why I don't blame them whatsoever. Like, it's not I'm sitting there and saying, "Oh, shut up, Wolves, pipe down and get on with your job." Like, there's a lot of legit problems this season that we've all seen. And anyone whoever it is in the chat, you support anyone in the Premier League, I'm sure one way or another we've all had a decision that's gone completely against us, and you've looked at it. Even for us, like in the Newcastle game the other day, Gordon should have had a penalty, 100%. Now, I'm not going to sit here and moan about that because it benefited us and we won. But if you're a Newcastle fan and you're watching it, you look at Anthony Gordon's Achilles, where Amrabat's basically fucking stood on the back of his foot and he's gone down, and VAR don't even look at it. It's like, like the inconsistencies with it are absolutely ridiculous. I think what they should do is implement the one they use in the World Cup and the one in Europe in the Champions League. I think it's like an automated system as well. Use that. It's faster. It's better. No need for these kind of fucking parallel lines being drawn left, right, and centre. Remember the offside with Garnacho as well against Arsenal. It's just bizarre. Very, very bizarre to me. And obviously, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because you can't really turn around mid-season and say, right, we're going to scrap it and we're going to work on for it. And then it'll come back next season. It'll be much better. It'll be much more efficient, blah, 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 because you're already halfway through a season. So they've kind of stuck with it. They try and change in a couple of little rules, like the handball and stuff. And it's just a mess, innit? It's just a mess. Another thing I've been a huge advocate for, and I don't know if people would agree with me on this, and I would be very interested to see. I would like referees to do interviews after the game. So managers and players always have to do interviews, right? You know, whatever if it's a good situation, just scored a hat trick, or you know they've just fucking got away with one, or you know the team's been battered and this just snatched and grabbed the last 1-0 in the last, and you know what I mean? Like whoever it is, a player has to come out and be accountable. A manager has to come out and be accountable. When a referee makes an horrendous decision after a game, in a bit, just walk off, and it's left for the pundits to kind of discuss amongst themselves. Why don't they come out with a microphone, Jess Reeves in the face, or whoever it is who does it now, is it Jules at TNT, and goes, all right, why did you make that decision? What was going through your head at the time? And you know, we're all human, we all make mistakes, people understand it, but you know, why did you? What was in your head? What did you think? Did you just not see it, or was there a bit of miscommunication? Like, surely that would be better, so people, because they need accountability. They get away with it way too easy, in my opinion. And if you want to clamp down on officiating and get, you know, some real matureness about this situation, I think that's what they should do. I've always been you can go back to the shows we've done years ago, and I've been speaking about this passionately. There's many reasons the FA don't want that. Well, I can imagine that. But don't mean the fans don't want it. Liverpool Spurs line drawing is not consistent. Diaz goal should have stood. Look at Liverpool against Wolves when they couldn't even get the offside fucking angle. I mean, honestly, you could go through this season and probably get hundreds and hundreds of decisions that have been just awful, which sometimes when you're watching it as a fan, you can see it on the screen and you're like, how can people who get paid for this on fucking a daily basis fuck this up? Like, it's bizarre to me, a lot of decisions. You know, some people say bring ex-players into the fold. Whether that'd help it or not, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe that would make it worse. I don't know. But maybe they have a bit more of an idea of the game, you know, who's looking for cheeky fouls or who's doing certain things in that aspect. But then would you have influence from outside if they support certain, you know what I mean? Like, that's when it can get a little bit sticky in that sense. Nothing to do with lines. It was miscommunicated. I don't know what you're alluding to there. I'm on about the Wolves one. Was it in the FA Cup where they couldn't confirm if it was actually offside because there's they weren't a camera there or something? People know what I'm referring to there. Yeah. Charlie Malman saying Eric Ten Hag did want VAR, but it needs to change. I agree, it needs to change, but it's still a tool to make fair games. Look, we had so many decisions prior to VAR that people were absolutely craving it, and when it's done right, it's good. It's really, really good. I think in Europe and the World Cup do it fantastically well, but us as a Premier League and the officials that we have, for it's supposedly the best league in the world, I mean, the PGM all have had to write more apology letters than some of the United players, honestly. VAR should be automatic, I agree. VAR abroad is much more consistent in the Premier League. Prem VAR is just a joke. Well, I'm glad we're all in unison on this and we can all kind of agree with it. A lot of the time when you're talking about a certain subject, obviously it is subjective in that sense, but people have different opinions. But the majority of people would probably agree that it definitely, one thing we can all agree on is it definitely needs improving. You can't go into next season with the same system that we've got in a minute. It's ruining some games, man. And some people are getting fucking demoted on this. Some people are winning titles on this. Man City. Some people are getting Champions League. Like, do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Football is shaking. VAR is semi-automated from next season, isn't it? I think so, yeah. Get the sin bid cards out. Oh, mate, don't do that. I did a show on blue card. When they first announced that they was going to do blue cards for, like, I said it's a Bruno card, that has got Bruno Fernandes written all over it, a blue card. But I think they pushed the idea out there and people were like, absolutely fucking not, mate. What are you talking about? What are you talking shit for? It's weird. We've not got any football coming up, have we? Friday night, no football. Saturday, no football. Last game of the season on Sunday. Man United versus Brighton. We did the preview for that yesterday. So if there's any United fans, I'm sure Crystal Palace fans or whatever won't want to watch it, but any United fans in the TikTok, check the preview me and Sam did yesterday. Probably the best preview we've done, to be honest, in terms of structure, the analytical side, the ones to watch, predictions, all that kind of stuff. Really, really good preview. So make sure you guys check that out if you are United fans. And yeah, a lot of stuff online. I think City are probably going to win the league. Aston Villa and obviously Liverpool got Champions League football nailed. I'm pretty sure bottom three is nearly nailed in it. Luton, majority, well, looks like they're definitely going to go down. So yeah, it's just a title. That's up for grabs at the minute. And then Europe, I mean, Chelsea look like they're getting Europe alongside Spurs. And we'll end up in the Conference League, which is just, yeah, depressing. Also, the medical staff are a joke. Letting Edison play on is vile. Mate, you want to see our medical staff. If you think your medical staff are bad, you ain't seen nothing, mate. Ours this season, I mean, we bought in that Gary O'Descroll from Arsenal as like head of medical stuff, and it's just gotten 10 times worse. And people want to go down conspiracy roads and start talking that he's going around with a lump hammer, basically just twatting all the United players in the knees and the hamstrings and all that kind of stuff. Oh, it's a mess. It's been an absolute mess. But we're nearly there. We're nearly there. We've got 2 games left. Brighton away and Man City in the FA Cup final. So fucking bring it on. That's what I say. Bring it on. Thank you for the follow, Mambo. Mambo da. Mambo Italiana. Mambo da. What a tune. Xavi sacked. Is it true? I don't know. I saw Laporte weren't happy with some of his comments about the board or something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. Rafael Varane, Lindelof back in training. It's nice to see, I suppose, some centre-backs. Yeah. Yeah, internal talks going on right now at Barca. Tense situation with President Laporta unhappy with Xavi. Xavi's recent words on financial situation and also on Victor Rowe. Key points. Rafa Marquez remains high on the... I don't know what's going on with him. Is he staying? Is he going? Is he like... It's been back and forth all season, that. Yeah, just... I don't know. Weird one. 3 new players will come in. That's for a lot. Right, anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Drop us a follow on TikTok, you absolute legends. Subscribe to Real Reds Talk. How many subs are on? 5,024, so we're 76 of 5,100. We're trying to hit 10k by the start of next season. So if you can subscribe to our channel, check it out. The link is in the description. We're live every single day, twice a day, from Monday to Friday. We've got a video dropping over the weekend for members, 5 replacements for Rafael Varane. We're going to be live for the game on Sunday, pre-match and post-match as well. And we'll have much more content. We'll have another show tonight, of course, and then Saturday as well. So make sure you check us out, subscribe, like, check us out on socials, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Have a lovely Friday, everyone. Have a lovely weekend. It's quite nice outside. Get a few beers down you.